Hi everyone, yasas que kalos tirtate to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a healthy and delicious meal that's going to be ready in under an hour. Everyone is going to love it, and it's a great way to sneak lots of veggies into your family and your loved ones. This is a delicious way to make them. We're going to be making Briam, which is a Greek vegetable stew, very similar to French ratatouille, and I'm going to be serving it with some homemade no-knead bread that I shared that recipe with you a couple of episodes before this one, so check that out. And I'm also going to serve this with some Keftedes, which are Greek meatballs, some feta and olives. It's so delicious. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to begin by preparing all of the vegetables. I have a large eggplant here. I'm just going to peel all of the skin off, and then I'm just going to dice this up into large dices, just about this size. Set it aside. I have 3 zucchinis here. I'll just cut off the tip and dice this up around the same size as the eggplant. Then I have about 5 potatoes here that I'm going to peel and dice these up around the same size. An onion. I'm using a red onion. You can use a yellow onion if that's what you have, but red is traditionally used in Briam, so I'm just going to peel it and finely chop this. Then I'll dice up a bell pepper, and you can combine the bell pepper, the potato, and the onion all in one bowl because they're going to cook together later on. You can do this in a pot or in a skillet. I prefer either a wide pot or a shallow wide skillet, so that way you could have more surface area to cook this on. So we're going to get some olive oil in a pot that's heating over medium-high heat, and first I'll add the eggplant and season it with some salt and black pepper, and this is just going to cook for 3 to 4 minutes until you get some color on it. It will not cook through. It'll still need some more time. Carefully take it out of the pot and transfer it to a plate. Next, we're going to cook the zucchini in the same way. We're going to definitely need some oil because eggplant really loves to soak up the oil. So add some more oil and some salt and pepper on the zucchini and cook it again 3 to 4 minutes over medium-high heat until it gets some nice color on it. Doing this to the vegetables first is going to prevent them from releasing a whole bunch of liquid into the stew later on. So now that's done, take the zucchini out and then add a tiny bit more oil and add your onion, potato, and bell pepper. Season it with some salt and pepper. And then I'll just cover the pot and let this cook over medium-low heat. You don't want it to burn for about 10 minutes. Potatoes take longer to cook than all of the rest of the vegetables. You want them to begin to soften a little bit, get some color. You want the onions and the bell peppers to soften. And then once that's done, we're going to add all of the veggies back into the pot with a 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. You can season the tomatoes a little bit, but I'll also add in some crushed red pepper flakes and a heaping teaspoon of dried oregano. I'll also rinse the can out with about a half a cup of water and add it to the pot. This is tomato puree. So it already has a little bit of salt and a tiny bit of sugar in it. But when you're using tomato puree, sometimes it does need a little pinch of sugar or honey. You can add that at this point. Mix everything all together. Once the sauce begins to heat up, I'll just cover the pot and reduce the heat to a medium-low and let the veggies cook for about 30 minutes or until they're fork tender. The longer you cook them, the silkier the stew will become. I'm not looking for the veggies to melt, so I think 35 minutes is the sweet spot. This is what I like it to look like once it's done. Take it off of the heat and you could add your herbs. I finely chopped some parsley and mint and I'll add them to the stew. Mix that all up. You can serve this with feta cheese on the side. I like to sprinkle feta cheese on top. And the stew is ready. I'm also going to fry up these keftedes that I had in my freezer. I just thawed them out on the counter for about an hour. Get some oil heating in a cast iron skillet or a frying pan and cook these about 3 to 4 minutes on each side or until they're golden all around. They go so well together, and this is ready to serve. This smells so good, and you can definitely serve it without the keftedes, but my kids love them, and I usually have a batch or 2 in the freezer. I've done a freezer prep video on how to do these and freeze them ahead of time. Once they're in the freezer, all you have to do is thaw them out for an hour on the counter, and I fried them because I feel like they taste better that way, but you can cook these in the air fryer, you can broil them in the oven. I have all those methods on the website on how to do that. I feel like fried, they just always taste a little bit better when they're fried. It smells so good, but like I said, you don't have to serve this with keftedes. You can serve it as is. If you want to go vegetarian that day, you can serve it vegetarian. There's definitely lots of flavor and it's hearty. You can serve this for breakfast with some fried or poached eggs on top. It goes good with fish, with chicken, pretty much anything. Time for the taste test. Just smells so good. And if you look at the potatoes, this is how they should be. When you press the fork through them, they should mash, and that's how you know everything is perfectly cooked. You can just put this over bread. There's so many ways to enjoy it. Oh my goodness. These flavors take me back to childhood. So good. I used to hate eggplant when I was little, and now I enjoy it in stews like this. The zucchini and the eggplant just melt in your mouth. I put loads of potatoes in this because we all love potatoes in it. Topped it with some feta and kalamata olives and those keftedes if you haven't ever made them yet. Definitely make them. They taste good in so many different ways. I also shared my no-knead bread with you a couple episodes before this, so check that out. It's just like 3 or 4 simple ingredients, 5 minutes, and then you can have this on your table in no time. The exact measurements for everything are on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you want to learn how to make the bread and the keftedes, click over here and I'll see you over there. Yes,